Day 5 is our daily tools to transform your life. So the number 1 says create, and then there's 3 blank lines. We want to create a positive attitude. We talked a little bit about this yesterday, and then underneath that, we've got affirmations, shutting down negativity, and surrounding yourself with other positive people. We talked a lot about this yesterday. We talked a lot about kind of that positivity, and we talked about our accountability team. Here I am, I'm back. And I want to just kind of continue that conversation today and talk about some, I guess, some like descriptive words and some descriptions behind what a positive mental attitude can be. And I actually want to, I want to touch on something that maybe some of you have heard about. So there is a long life book a long time ago. That was not a sentence, but I just made it into one. A book by Napoleon Hill called Think and Grow Rich. I have read this book so many times in my life. And for those of you that don't know, I actually used to be in network marketing. So when I was 19, I joined a network marketing company, and I'm talking like I was in network marketing, not like how it is now, how people are like really nice and you buy like a little like thing of oil and you like support their business. I was in it when it was like freaking so intense, and we would close for like $5,000, $10,000. I would do presentations in front of like hundreds of people on a Saturday morning in a suit. And I mean, we were like rocking and building and running offices. Like it was really, really intense. I ended up leaving that company because I figured out it was very unethical. But anywho, I learned a lot from the people that were there. And this was one of the books that I read when I was in this network marketing company, and I'll never forget it. So it's called Think and Grow Rich. It's by Napoleon Hill, and it talks about PMA, talks about positive mental attitude and what that means for us. You've maybe heard the saying, you know, there's a little bit of talk in this world where it's like right now about good vibes only and how it's like toxic positivity. I have every sort of challenge to that as humanly possible, because I have lived through the mindset of being positive in my life. Now, yes, when you are not in that mindset, can you look at somebody else's life and say, gosh, it's so irritating, they're so positive all the time? Sure, you can. Excuse me. But I promise you that from my experience, and I am no like author, or I just am a person that has gone through a lot in life and gone through mindset coaching, you know, a lot of different things. Having a positive mindset gets you to a place that is more productive than not having that. There is always a time to be realistic, and having a positive mental attitude doesn't mean that you are not realistic. Being realistic is things like writing down your perfect day and your perfect life and focusing and assessing what you don't have, setting those goals, getting an accountability team, and being able to move forward. Okay. That is this realistic stuff that we are really looking at. Within that, it's having that positive mental attitude that you still want to focus on and always want to focus on. You always want to find the good in any situation possible. You guys look at the world that we are living in. It's how we're going to make it. Okay. It really, truly is. So let's talk a little bit more about that PMA, or positive mental attitude. When you expect good things to happen, they're going to happen. Okay. So if you can kind of think of words like faith, integrity, hope, courage, generosity, kindness, you're going to attract those positive changes, and you're going to attract achievement if you have that PMA. It is proven that in sports, the difference, there was a study that was done by Major League Baseball players, and the difference between minor league baseball players and Major League Baseball players was this. What they found was the Major League Baseball players had more mental toughness than the minor leagues. Okay. If you want to make it to the major leagues in your life, whatever that looks like for you, you are going to need to have that PMA and that mental toughness and that mental positivity and that grind of positivity in your life as much as humanly possible. I know that it is hard. Trust me. I know that it is hard. I lived through that so much in my life. I was shattered 2 years ago, shattered. And it was so difficult. And I yelled and I screamed and I swore and I told God exactly how I felt. And I told, and I was mad and it was hard and I was sad and I was broken. But there was within that, it was like my mind and my heart and the Lord loved me back, one tiny little positive thing at a time per day got me back on track. And it's not easy. It's not like I'm walking around every day like I'm so positive, everything is perfect. No, it's far between, it's far from that. Every day I struggle. Every day, not every day, but I still have days where I want to give up. I still have days where I'm wondering what my purpose is. I still have days where I got to switch my mindset, or I've got to call somebody from my accountability team and say, hey, I'm in the dumps here. Like, I'm not doing well. I got to meet up with you. I've got to talk about some things. I'm still meeting with my therapist. So, you know what I mean? You still have to take those steps until you feel like you can elongate those steps. So that positive mental attitude is something we just really want to stay focused on. So I love that. I love that study with sports. That just really hit home for me. So there's tons of traits, there's tons of characteristics that are associated with a positive mindset. And I wanted to read a few of those to you, or share a few of those with you. So optimism is, oh, I love this. It's just a willingness. It's a willingness to basically make an effort and take a chance. So optimism is like, yeah, you know what? I believe in myself enough that I'm going to take a chance in myself. So it's a willingness. Okay. It's not a must. It's just a willingness to say, yeah, when I do this, I know that it's going to pay off. It's a belief in you, a belief in your own mindset, a belief in your ability, and a belief in your heart to know that. Acceptance, acknowledging that things are not going to always turn out how you want them to, but you're going to always promise to yourself and accept that you will learn from your mistakes. We cannot live life thinking that everything is going to go as we planned. How many of you know that? Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's like, oh, I'm 41 or I'm 35 or I'm 25 and society tells me I should look like this or have this or be doing this, right? We all have those thoughts. All of us have been dealt a different card in life. We all have a different purpose in life. We all are here for a different reason. So acceptance is just accepting. It's accepting that. It's accepting our history and accepting, like, you know what? This is where I came from. This is a big reason why I maybe have taken some of those traits along with me in my life, into my marriage, into my friendships, into my relationships, into with my children, whatever that might look like. And it's accepting that, and it's okay. And it's understanding that, okay, now that I've accepted it, I can take those steps to be able to move forward. It's resilience. It's bouncing back from adversity, from failure, from resistance. And it's just instilling that in your heart and in your mind. We are going to fail almost every single day. I was just talking with my coach yesterday, and she said something to me that actually really resonated with me. She said, are you enjoying the process, of like what I'm going through with her? And I really had to think about that. And then I was thinking, did I enjoy the process of like creating Flirt and like doing all of this work here? And then I thought to myself, I don't know. Like I'm still kind of like stuck on this. And what I told her is I was like, well, I went through Flirt, like it was all trial by error of how I ended up creating this business. It was not in my plan. I was just going to do it as like a really tiny, small hobby. And then ta-da, 3 studios later, 2 studios later, a license to franchise, a consulting company to go along with it. Pole certifying over 20 to 30 people every single year. Here I am. And what I told her was, I guess I just am a person. I just can't wait to fail. I said, I can't wait to fail because that's how I learn the best. And that's how I just get back on my feet and I keep going. So failing and getting things wrong actually excites me. I'm such a person that just loves to be thrown into the wolves and like kind of eaten up a little bit so that I can like learn how to fight back. I don't know. That's just me. Maybe it's crazy. So you can't be afraid to fail. You have to be resilient and know that you're going to, and it's fine. Everybody does. Okay. No matter what, like, and I raise your hand if you're this with me. Mom guilt is my worst at this. Man, it's the one I cry about the most, you know, when I just feel like I haven't given my kids like the best of me or the best day, or I lost my temper or I got impatient, you know, man, that's my hardest one to deal with. But we've got to know that we've got to be able to get through that resilience. Consciousness and mindfulness. So it's just really dedicating your mind to be aware and to be focused. And that last one is integrity. So it's a trait of being honorable and righteous, understanding and graceful. And, you know, this can be a hard one sometimes, because sometimes you might think that, or we might think or go through situations where we think, you know, I could just kind of move past that, or I don't need to like ask for forgiveness, or I don't need to say that I'm sorry. And that's part of a positive mental attitude. It's part of a positive mindset for us, is to be aware and to understand when we are needed to give grace, to take acceptance on our own, to say sorry, to apologize, and to ask for forgiveness. I have a huge story to go along with what I just said that we're going to go over in the next 8 weeks that I can't wait to share with you. So let's keep rolling through that. Some examples of your positive mental attitude. I love these. I'm going to read to you a few and I'll put these in the chat group too. It is getting what you get and never pitching a fit. I love that one. It's being friendly to those that you don't even know. It's being a source of energy that lifts those around you. It's having a good time, even when you're losing. It's being happy for someone else's success. It's not allowing other people's negativity to bring you down. And the most important one, it's being true to yourself always and forever. I have some more that I want to share with you that I'll share in the chat, but those are some of my favorite ones. Let's talk about negativity. Let's go back to our workbook, you guys, and go to filling in the blanks here. We've got so number one, we had create a positive attitude. We talked about affirmations. We're going to talk right now about shutting down negativity and making sure, we talked about yesterday, to surround yourself with other positive people. That's your accountability team. Those are your 5 people that we talked about. Let's talk about shutting down negativity before we go on to number 2, which is create new habits. So this is going to kind of roll in all together. So number 2 is create new habits. What is one habit you're going to create? And you're going to start it tomorrow. Okay. So yesterday we talked about things we're taking action right now. Today, we're going to talk about one piece that we are going to start tomorrow, one action step. I'm all about action steps because that's the way that we're able to move forward. So create new habits. What's one habit that you will create starting tomorrow? What is it going to be? Let's talk about habits. Let's talk about negativity. Let's roll through it. You can start with an incredibly small habit. Okay. You can make it. What I want you to do is I want you to think about starting small. If you start with something so big, you're already going to be discouraged about it. And you're already going to say no. So here's what I want you to think. Sometimes your habit is to get out of bed and smile. Sometimes it is so small that is all you need to just keep going. 2 years ago, when my baby was 2 months old and being ripped from my arms, and my husband filed for divorce, and I didn't know if I was going to be able to still have this company, and I was in litigations, and I was just getting torn apart personally by people that I really trusted, my habit was to get up. That was how small it was. And it took everything in me every morning to get up. And it was, my kid, you guys know, if you're a mom or you have somebody that you love, it's like your kids just drive you to get there. That's okay. That is a really great habit. Where are you at in some of those goals that you wrote down yesterday? Is there a habit that you can start to create? So maybe if you want to read, let's say you want to read a book. Let's say you want to read Think and Grow Rich. Okay. Maybe your habit isn't to read one book every week. Maybe your habit is to read one page every single day. Maybe your habit is to read one page Monday through Friday. Maybe your habit is to read one page on the, three days a week, on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. That is so easy. You can't say no. You know what I mean? So don't start somewhere that's so big and feels so not attainable for you. That you when you read it, you go, it's just like a lot of work, or it's like too much. Just don't think that I can do it. You know what I mean? Start small. If you want to create a couple habits, do that. Let's talk about why we want to do that. It's the power of really tiny gains. So listen, I want you to think about this. I have a little chart that I'm going to post for you in the group. If all you did was focus on getting 1% better every day, by the end of the year, you would be 37.78% better than what you are right now. Now, better, that can mean a lot of different things, okay? But if all you did was get 1% better every single day this year, you will be 37.78% better than you were at the start of the year. Now, the flip side of that, if you get, that's a tiny gain, right? Let's take a tiny loss. Taking a loss of 1% every single day of this year will only bring you to 0.03. Okay, so it is the difference of like a little tiny bit. Do you see how that can give you a lot? Just a tiny bit, 1%, that's like nothing, right? So we would be in the negative of 0.03 if we went 1% with a tiny loss, in the positive of 37.78 better this year than when you started. Okay. The last part of your workbook is who's going to hold you accountable. And we really drove this home yesterday, so I'm only going to touch on it today. Who are you going to tell about your habit? Who's going to hold you accountable? Maybe this one can be your journal. Maybe you're just going to create a calendar, okay? And maybe every time you read a page, you give yourself a purple sticker, purple star, okay? And here's the thing. If you don't make it, it's okay. Give yourself grace, be nice, be kind, be gentle, but just get back on track. So let's say your goal is to read one page in a book every three days a week, okay? Put a star on Monday. You read it on Wednesday, put a star on Wednesday. You read it on Friday, put a star right there. Next week came and your whole household got sick and you missed all 3 days. Be gracious to yourself, okay? It's like life happens, stuff happens, but get back on track that next week, and maybe you could do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. And give yourself those purple stars. Give yourself a visual of what that can look like. Journal. Talk about it with somebody. Say, with my coach, every single time when I first started with her, every single time I did devotions in the morning and took time for myself, even if it was 5 minutes, that was my goal. It wasn't like, 30 minutes of reading my Bible in print. It was 5 minutes, and it was 3 times a week. That's where I started. And every time I did it, I just sent her a text and I just said, done, did it. And then I was like, did it in my car while I was driving, worshiped in my car for a song before I went to go pick up the kids. It was boom, boom, boom. And she was my accountability person. And that was it. I didn't even get feedback from her a lot of times. I just knew that I had to send it to her. And that's what held me accountable. So how is that going to work for you? Share it with me. I want to hear. It can be me. Text me with your accountability. Text me with your little habit that you're going to do. Let's talk about it. I want to talk to you more. stay tuned, you guys. I'm going to send you a link for the next 8 weeks and what that's going to look like. It's called Get Your Flirt On. I can't wait to launch this. This is going to be my most intimate series, which is why I'm doing the members only price. And we're going to launch. We're going to launch from here. This is our first little mini challenge. We're going to get small. We're going to get intimate for the next 8 weeks. I can't wait for you to join me. It's an investment in you. It's an investment in yourself. And I can't wait to walk you through what we're going to go through and the depths and the tears and the laughter and all the great questions that I'm going to be here to answer. And most of all, the support that I'm going to have a chance to walk through with you, what somebody walked through with me. And I can't wait for that. Thank you guys so much for joining me.